Welcome back to part 2, VCS Any Explained. Um, I did part 1 yesterday. Now we're here going to do part 2, which should be Act 2. Maybe we'll get into some of Act 3. So we're going to start off. We've just done PACBA. We are currently restarting our game. So all my On Mission Zero explanations and PACBA explanations um, should or are in part 1, so I'll not be re-explaining all that. Go watch part 1 for that. So, once you reload the game, make sure you've loaded the right save. If you did save management correctly, like I explained in the last video, should be fine, and it should load the correct save. So, some of the faster runners are able to park the Sanchez from Truck Stop Dupe in the garage and still have time to run in. I do not, I fling it off, so I have no vehicle in my garage. However, I start running to it instinctually, but I don't. So what I'll be doing here is stealing a vehicle off the street. Not a lot of vehicles will spawn at this time of day, and off, obviously, right after loading a save. So I managed to just get a truck here. Not exactly. Yeah, I'm changing my control setup because I forgot to do that. Um, uh, Earlier. So I'm just taking the truck, and we're gonna go to the airplane marker to start jive drive. Um, Once again, a little tame. We don't have on mission 0 for a couple missions, but it will pick up the pace very soon. So the game will get spammed by pagers. So I usually just like to wait where the jive drive marker is. It's about here. I have a specific lineup, but I was a little too far ahead. It's more by the mailboxes ish. So the Japanese version of Jive Drive is a little more difficult because the analog stick is slightly more sensitive on auto scrollers for some reason. So what I prefer to do is this goes for both versions of Vice City Stories. Holding L while using the analog stick in auto scroller. So this goes for Jive Drive. Also goes for Farewell to Arms. I can't think of any other auto scrollers. I think that might be the only two. Holding L will be doing like precise aiming. Uh, that also works in LCS. It does precise aiming so that the analog stick moves a lot slower, but I find that to be a lot easier. Some people may not. So I'm just skipping through these cutscenes, and immediately there's two guys right here. So for some reason, this is just VCS. The Uzi when in drive-by modes, so not when you're normal drive-buying, but when you're in the auto-scroller drive-by, like now, you fire out one bullet per frame for some reason. This also goes for any AI drive-buying. They also fire one bullet per frame. So I'm very particular here to try and catch the cars on fire and kill the shooter, but then the driver will usually spiral off, because you don't want the cars to blow up right next to you, because that will do a hefty amount of damage. So there'll be two guys getting out of the car right here. Anyone getting out of the car will have Uzis, or anyone in a car will have Uzis. But ones that are just spawned and standing on the ground, like right there, will have pistols. So keep that in mind. Always prioritize the ones with Uzis. So right here, I just shoot both of the pedestrians out and catch the car on fire. So shoot those two have Uzis. There's another car, you can probably get a few shots in there. I just shoot both of them out of the car here. Now, both these cars have Uzis. I managed to shoot 3 of 4. So there's one guy there that has a pistol, and one guy there that has a pistol. So these two bikers have pistols because they're not in a car. They have pistols. Sometimes Lance can get stuck on a bike there, so be very careful. Um, They have pistols. I'm not great at this auto-scroller, but I can get by. At least the last two have Uzis, so be careful. So a lot of people actually find the auto-scroller harder than this part. I find this next part harder than auto-scroller. So this is why I picked up SMG ammo into Victor to the Spoils, is for this mission. So I have the silenced SMG. I shoot these 4 people here with the SMG. And then I pick up, one of those guys has an Uzi, so I pick that up, accidentally shoot the cops here. You do not want to be shooting the cops. Lance takes a lot of damage, no big deal. So I run back and shoot the other 2. Usually I come around that side of the wall, but since Lance was getting shot, I decided to quickly run back around. There's sometimes these 2 people, I skipped ahead too much, will get stuck here, sometimes they won't. One of them has an Uzi, usually the one with the pistol is stuck in front of him though, if they get stuck here. So I pick up more Uzi ammo, I end up getting 4 stars here, which is not good, but that's because I shot the 2 cops in the beginning. What you can do, this cop car blocked me from doing it, is you can actually, let me go back here. So I killed the 2 guys. I usually run, the cop car blocked me from doing so, but I usually run out and then come around the side. That'll bring Lance, hopefully, over to the right side. Cops prevented me from doing that, though. Normally, you'll have 3 stars here, and in international, you have 2. So I played safe here in Pay and Spray because multiple of my wheels are shot, and also I have 4 stars. I usually can handle 3 stars, but at this point, I'm not risking it. So I'm being very careful not to hit any of the cop cars so I don't have to pay and spray twice. So you'll usually end up with around 120-ish Uzi bullets. I think I'm at 117 here, which is a decent amount. Should work just fine. And we're gonna hightail it back to Lance's. Especially be careful around this corner if you do not pay and spray. Get stuck on a bike here as per usual. Usually this mission takes about 3.5 minutes. 2 minutes auto scroller, 1.5 minutes shootout, and getting back to Lance's. But the split also includes getting there and reloading the save and doing pack and all that. So you're immediately going to start the audition. Skip through. If this was international, this health would not be good. But because Japanese has 4 times the amount of health, this is plenty for this next part. So you're going to skip through the cutscene. You're immediately just going to run to the door. Don't worry about the guy shooting you. So now this is another case of AI sprints after you only if you're holding down the sprint button. So I should hold down X here. In this case, I did not. I was tapping it because I forgot to. If you hold down X, Lance will get on immediately after you do. But in this case, I had to wait for him because I did not tap sprint. Or I did tap sprint. So I'll skip through here. I pay and spray just to play it safe. You don't really need to. It's only 2 stars. If you somehow manage to get 3, though, you're on a bike, I'd recommend pay and spraying. In this case, though, I was just playing it safe, since this was the first run I had gotten in a long time going. I pick up health here. I shouldn't have, but because we are death warping after the mission, I should not have picked up health. Unless you're at very low health and you're at risk of dying during the cafe section, don't pick up health. If half health is fine, you're fine. So you're going to take a different route than what the game is telling you. You're going to go, instead of going down to Viceport to the blip where it tells you, you're going to take a turn into here. Go past the Empire site and the hotel from Truck Stop. Take a left here, and then right past this first wall is a small opening. Take a sharp left there, and you can see there is a small staircase. This is how we skip the jumping from roof to roof section. This goes for NMG too, you use this in NMG. So you're going to take a nice corner here and jump onto the staircase and pull left at the last moment. And usually it won't be that tight to where you're grinding on the fence. But now you're going to come around these two red buildings, go to this green trailer, this specific one, and jump inside of it. There will be 10 Molotov pickup. Get back on your bike, and Lance and you shoot these couple dudes. They won't drop any Uzis, so don't try and pick up any ammo. It's random on where which car the target car is, but there's a couple different spots it can be, but it's all in that general area. So if you kill those three guys, you'd be good. Jumping out of here. Now, if you slow down a little bit and go to the left, you can actually hit the top of this fence right here and trigger the cutscene early. Just a small minor optimization. So that's mission passed. I death warp a little slower here, and it's actually, I shouldn't not be doing this, but what you can do to death warp, because Molotovs give off explosion splash damage along with just spawning fire. So what you would do is throw the Molotov, then hold forward on the analog stick and jump, so you kind of jump into the explosion. That'll do much more damage than just burning yourself. This is very important for Japanese version. Instead, I run in. That's what you should do. In this, my PB, I just run into this corner, so I don't, because I didn't know about jumping into it at this point. So I throw 2 Molotovs is usually sufficient, but I picked up health after burn myself a little bit. I die during the pager, which is risky, because sometimes it can despawn the weapon padlock. I'm fine in this case. Another note I'm going to make, once again, like the menus issue, where circle is okay and X is back, unlike international, it's the same with padlock weapons. It's circle is okay and X is back, and if you press X, you will not be able to pick up your weapons. So I hop into the ambulance, and this is one of my least favorite parts of the run. And it's actually a lot harder on Japanese than international. There's nothing specifically different you do. It's just a glitch that is apparent on Japanese and not on international. So I'm going to take another cop bike, and I'm saving. Again, this is just another safety save. So I'm playing it safe here. The route sheet will tell you to get a cop car and start the katana rampage on the roof of the police station. However, I am playing it safe in this case, and I'm going to Little Haiti and starting the Molotov rampage across the street from the apartment complex, or whatever building that you store Forbes in after Caught as an Act. This is Caught as an Act, times 6, I guess you could say. We basically do it on Mission 0 different ways to pass different missions. So the first one, we are only on Mission 0 for about half a second after for the duration of the mission, and that will select Forbes as the current strand, and it will pass a Forbes mission, skipping Money for Nothing, which is a very long mission where you have to wait for the AI to do a bunch of things. And then we do simple on Mission 0, we just let a rampage fail and then pick up another rampage. Similar to how we did waking up the neighbors on Mission 0. And we do that a total of 4 times to skip all of Umberto's missions, because Umberto missions, if you don't manipulate like the rampage timer like we will with Money for Nothing, if we would just go on Mission 0 generally and not do anything special, it will pass an Umberto mission, and that goes for the rest of the game. So if you screw up any on Mission 0s, you'll pass an Umberto mission. So I'm picking up the on Mission 0 Molotov Rampage, and I'm heading to Cause an Act. Now, this PB is a little older. I've learned how to make this section a lot easier. I struggled a lot with this back when I was running for this PB. It's not as bad now, but... So I'm taking this specific route. I fall off my bike, which is very bad. You do not want to fall off a vehicle here. It's very tight timing for this mission. So it's very bad that I fell off there. So I'm leaning forward as much as possible, trying to get as much speed to get there as soon as possible. You want to be starting this mission around 1:15. Probably it's the most optimal. Well, really, you want to be getting there around 50. Generally, you want to be like skipping the cutscene at 50. That's why I do Molotov. Using the cop cars with the katana rampage is not gonna lie to do it. So at 50 is the safest point. So hold down sprint here so Lance runs after you. Which I did not do here, so I'll wait for him for a second. Which is bad. You're running to the cheetah, coming after him, and there is a glitch apparent with caught as an act, and this is Japanese only. So when you open the trunk, when you like hit his car and open the trunk, something becomes apparent called the trunk glitch. Pedestrians will jump out of their cars, run towards the car, supposedly picking up money. That is part of the mission. However, for some reason in Japanese, both Vic and Lance are included in that pedestrian pool. So randomly, you'll jump out of your car. And sometimes Lance will jump out of your car, but usually you jump out of your car without pressing any buttons. I used to think it was a controller issue. However, when asked, I learned of the trunk glitch. It is a very, very annoying glitch. So there is many ways to prevent ever opening the trunk and being able to catch him. Which is what I do now in my run attempts. However, I have not finished a run where I've been able to do that yet. So what I'm doing here is trying to very carefully, I accidentally open the trunk, but at this point I'm catching him in a way, so it's fine. I usually pull him over to this side of the road, and I'm going to immediately pull him out of the car. This is an okay point. You do not want to pull him out around 9 to 11 seconds. So usually I add a few seconds to that to play it safe. Because otherwise, this fade after this cutscene will screw you over. This fade will screw you over. Because you need to be skipping a cutscene, however, the rampage timer runs out. So what you're going to do is you're going to skip this final cutscene at exactly 0.5 seconds left on the rampage timer. So right about now. So you should see rampage fade on the last few frames of the fade out. And you won't know if you've done it correctly until you start and cancel a submission. So normally I do this with Vigilante because you're going to get another on Mission 0 rampage. I could have checked with Taxi Driver there. So, optimal way to get a cop car or a cop bike for on Mission 0 rampage is to get a 2-star wanted level with some Molotovs. But I usually now play it safe and I just drive to the police station in downtown and get a cop bike from there. If I don't have a cop bike spawning immediately. Once again, you cannot get on Mission 0 with a taxi or anything like that. So I get a cop car to spawn here. I luckily didn't get 3 stars. 2 cop cars spawn, which is not great. However, when starting Vigilante, cops will stop shooting at you briefly during the fade. So I turn around. I don't remember if I got money for nothing skip first try, but we'll see. So I kind of block myself in. I go to start the on Mission 0 rampage, and this is when we'll know whether or not we did the money for nothing skip correctly. If Forbes is right here, you've done it correctly. However, in this case, I did not. So I reload the save. It's a matter of frames. So I'll skip through this section. So here we are right after. I'm looking for another cop car. I've got a 1 star. I punch a few pedestrians to get cops to spawn. Here's one. Trying to avoid getting busted. So I'm starting on Mission 0 Molotov Rampage once again. So I accidentally start. You saw briefly I screwed up on Mission Zero Rampage because I was not in the correct location. And if I had grabbed it before it said mission over, I still would have been fine, because when it says mission over, that's when it sets on mission 0. If you saw very briefly, go back here. You saw very briefly, let me see if I can pause at a good time. Right there, the Forbes icon is there, so I did do money for nothing skip correctly, however, I accidentally went on mission 1. So this is a good 2-minute time loss. So I just spend this time getting rid of cops. I go back, start again, I get on mission 0 correctly. Now we're doing just the normal 4 on mission 0s to skip all of Umberto's missions. Because all of Umberto's missions each take more than 2 minutes, and cause an act, plus the rampage takes about 2 minutes. So it's a good few minutes time save. Also avoids Poppy Don't Screech, which in my opinion is the worst mission in Act 2. So I'm starting here at about 30 seconds is when I get into the cutscene. And you want to skip this cutscene at about 9 to 10 seconds left on the timer. So I skip it here at about 10. That's fine. So I'm not sure if I do the helpful optimizations or not. But I hold sprint here, I should be, or maybe I tapped it again. I did tap it. So I'm pulling a tight turn here. It's traffic luck once again, but you pick up this rampage here, so you're caught as an actor on mission 0, but you have an on mission 1 rampage. I guess is the best way to explain it. Now we want to catch Forbes without popping the trunk open, otherwise it is okay if you fail it here, because you can go back and start the mission again, still be on mission 0, be able to set it up, but if you're too far away, you won't be able to do that, and you have to reset up on mission 0. So here, this is the best place to pull them over. Right here, this is how you can avoid popping open the trunk and having the trunk glitch be in effect. So you usually want to pull them over right in this intersection, or right before it. If you're quick enough, that's what you can do. So I quickly pull them out of the car. And this is what you need to be careful of, because we did money for nothing skip. We have leap and bound available right where this mission finishes. Since we don't want to do leap and bound yet, you want to, while you're skipping the cutscene, you also want to hold down on the analog stick and spam jump, which is square, and hold sprint. Because you want to be jumping out of the leap and bound marker, because you don't want to start it. So like that. So that is nice package completed. Make it back. So it seems I am doing these optimizations. So I did get screwed over a little bit by traffic, but I was fine. I did not park the cheetah in the best spot, so I waste a second getting the rampage. It's very tight timing to be able to pull them over at the intersections. There are a couple backup locations if you can't get them at the intersection, but yeah, it looks like I'm not going to be able to get him at the intersection. He's there in the white singer. I get stuck on a light pole, which makes me unable to do the backup right here. But the taxi saved the day, and he gets stuck here on this corner, so I'm able to run over to him and pull him out. However, I waste time, and he gets stuck back here, but I'm able to catch him still. You have about 20 seconds of leeway, backup time-wise. So we've completed balls. So you pick up the Sanchez near Antipole's house every time. It's right here. Drive back all the way to the stadium. Don't go like forward near ammunition to those main intersections. Take a left like you do in Jive Drive. Otherwise you can get screwed over by traffic even worse. Once again, we skip the cutscene about 9 to 10 seconds. I pull up next to the rampage. This is how you want to pull up to it. So the moment you get out, you start it. Lance does this weird opening the door, exiting, whatever. This is one of the most boring parts of the run. So it's random, but so I ram him way too hard here. I think at this point, yeah, I do get the trunk glitch. You'll be able to see it in effect here. I start trying to catch up to him. I should bail out. Yep. So I have the trunk glitch in effect. So what I do is I fail the mission, because at that point I won't be able to start the next mission. Even if I catch up to him, I won't be able to start the next mission in time. So what I do is I fail the mission. Lance dies or something, or Forbes gets away. I'm not sure what the fatal condition is. It's Japanese. It was probably Lance died. So I go back and restart the mission and try this over again. So I screw up. So I really, really screwed up. So what I have to do is I have to. Basically, what I did is I because I'm not holding sprint, Lance didn't get in the vehicle, and I started driving away, and he got stuck on the ground. So I wouldn't have had time to catch up to Forbes. So what I did is I ran him over, but forgot I didn't have a rampage running anymore. So I grabbed a cop bike from the cops, or the police station, hit a taxi, start this mission on mission 0. However, I am dumb and did not start Vigilante first, so I have to wait for this to run out. I decided that's probably best to just death warp. So that's what I do. I go grab, I get my weapons back, as you should, get another cop bike, get on mission 0 Vigilante, or on mission 0 Rampage. We're good. Wait for the timer to go down. I'm just screwing around with these bikers, really. Start again, skip at 10-ish seconds. This is a pretty long cutscene, so we should have some leeway. I not do a good job driving here. I get stuck on traffic, and those curbs decided they didn't want me to continue, so I pick up the rampage again, not inoptimally. Now I have to try and catch up to Forbes, but I'm going to have to use one of the backup spots, because I won't have time to catch him at the intersection. As you can see, he's already way ahead. So, I don't, because I hit that car, I don't have time to get the backup spot right here. So what I have to do is I have to use the fence at the fire station to get him, which is what I do. If he ends up getting past the fire truck or the fire station fence, at that point just go restart the mission. So I jump out of the marker again. It seems it's random, really, but it seems more people fail on the Poppy Don't Screech skip more than any of them. No particular reason why, it's just... Oh, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like, correlation does not equal, like, consistency or something. Not really sure. So we're doing the last Umberto skip. So I pick up the rampage again. I'm just kind of skipping around this because it's the same thing 4 times. Good. I'm not able to catch him at the intersection. He's having a grand old time here. I get stuck on a voodoo. I'm not able to pull him out. So I restart the mission. This is very inoptimal, but... So I pull him over here at this backup spot, near this garage. Pull him out. We're good. It's the last Umberto skip. I jump out of the mark. You can see there's no more Umberto icon. So I grab the Sanchez again. We're going to do our last cause and act on mission 0. And that's the leap and bound skip. Which, I will point out at the end, something very annoying about this skip. So, what you do is you just let the rampage run out, so you're just on mission 0, but do not restart the rampage. So you're able to catch him right about here, like you were for Money for Nothing skip. So you pull him out. You have to be very careful about your timing here. So, at this same point, I'm going to go back. In this cutscene, Vic is invisible right about here. So it starts leap and bounds. So we've pulled him over. We're on mission 0, cause and act. And I'm gonna go play by play here. So right now, Forbes strand selected because we started leap and bound. So we are no longer technically on the Lance mission strand, we are on the leap and bound strand because we started Forbes mission. So you're going to skip this cutscene right when that camera changes. Right when it stops like looking upwards and starts zooming into the place. So right now you want to skip it like I did. And right now I have the volume way down so you don't hear my voice. There should be the mission pass tone. And also this intro, I believe this is the Bum Deal cutscene. So we skipped Leap and Bounds, and it started Bum Deal as well. So we skipped multiple cutscenes, it barely didn't crash. However, the annoying thing is, even if you do everything correctly, there is a very, very small chance that the game will still crash. I've had that happen to me once. Other runners, I believe Fiojito had it happen to him like once, a couple years ago. It's not very common. I just happened to get very unlucky. However, this was not the case. If that had happened, I would have quit the run, because I haven't saved since Money for Nothing skip, and it's pointless to do this. So, what's happened here is you started the Bum Deal Dupe, because of passing, leap, and bound, and everything we just did. So you're going to, so for some reason, if you pass Bum Deal Duped, it will only pass on Bearstone missions. Not sure why. It's just specifically how we duped it. But you want a Death Warp, buy back your weapons with Circle, and you're going to take the taxi back to the Bum Deal. So you don't have to do Bum Deal on Mission 1 like you do in International. This is why Japanese is better, because Bum Deal on Mission 1 is very, very difficult. So we're doing Bum Deal. Normally, I'm running and get the Sanchez. Lance gets stuck on a cop car. It's all good. He's out of breath. He's having a grand old time. So I leave him there because you can actually run into one of the houses and get stuck inside them. Go out of bounds, fall out of bounds, and get stuck inside them. At that point, I don't know what you would do. I don't know if there's a mission fail condition for getting too far away from Lance. But for some reason, he keeps getting stuck out of breath on absolutely nothing. So we just take the Sanchez like we have for the past 7 missions or so. Park the Sanchez right about there. What I usually do is just throw a Molotov or two. One at those groups, and then, okay, so I just pistoled the other one. I quickly run inside. You can sometimes catch on fire there, but that fade will put out your fire. So if you have some stubby shotgun ammo left from way earlier on, I would use that here. However, I don't, so I just pistol them. All good. I'm just pistoling all of them. That's what you would do for these ones here, because you don't really want to waste Uzi ammo. Because you're going to be getting an MP5 at the end of this mission, which you're going to use for the Snitch Hitch dupe. That's where you can get a ton of SMG ammo, is Snitch Hitch dupe. So we get back to the place, and Forbes is escaping. So even though he doesn't use it, he'll drop an MP5 upon death. So you can quickly just shoot him off his bike, grab the MP5. Cops decide to screw me over here. You can see that I have the MP5. Looking at my weapon icon. So I believe, yeah, I go here and pay and spray, play it super safe. Though I only have 2 stars, I don't need to. If, again, just like the audition, if I had 3 stars, I would pay and spray. I somehow hit that cop car and didn't retain my wanted level, but so heading back to downtown, back to Lance's hotel. You want to quickly just grab a cop bike from here, because we still haven't done cause and act normally yet. In fact, you don't do it normally at all. But so we've taken a cop bike, got another wanted level. It's fine. Driving back to the hotel. and finishing the mission. So whenever you see my cursor flying across the screen from the actual video, that's probably me just scrolling notes and whatever. So here I'm just doing another safety save at the compound. It's probably not an optimal time to do it. What I'd do now is I'd probably just do cause and act normally, then save before snitch hitch dupe. But snitch hitch dupe isn't super hard, but I have failed it like once, and I didn't safety save, so the run died. Now we're going to drive over to the stadium and get this on Mission 0 rampage again, like we have throughout this entire act. I'm going to go immediately, not wait for anything, we're immediately going to go start cause and act. Because for once we want to complete this pretty much normally. With the rampage running, because we're going to use the rampage to chain it into the snitch hitch dupe. I almost fling Lance out of the car, which would have been really bad. But I think it still would have been fine, honestly. The traffic screws me over here. This Idaho screws me over, so I pull him over. Don't even open the trunk, which is good. What you want to do most of the time, not open the trunk. So by instinct, I still jump out of the marker, even though there is no marker. That's just by instinct. You don't actually need to do that. So I'm running to grab the Sanchez again. That's cause and act done. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And that unlocks snitch hitch. So the snitch hitch dupe does not work on international. So we have to do the bum deal on mission 1 setup, which is very difficult. However, the snitch hitch dupe makes it so that Pac-Ba is very easy. Act 2 to 3 Pac-Ba is much easier than Act 1 to 2 Pac-Ba, in my opinion. If you're doing international, it'd be the other way around. So we still have Rampage running, still got plenty of time. We're going to drive back over here to Snitch Hitch, and I'm just going to wait a little bit. So I've started it, and you're going to skip the cutscene 0.5 seconds after the Rampage ends. So 0, 0. You see mission failed, and I skip immediately after it says mission failed. And then what you're going to do is there's going to be a second cutscene that plays. It's a cinematic cutscene. You're going to skip it almost immediately. So right here you see I skip it. You do not want to skip it immediately. Almost immediately. If you skip it immediately, I'm not sure what will happen. I've skipped it too late before that screwed me over. I've soft-locked the game doing that. So the first cutscene will play again. And you're going to skip the cutscene when he says no blue. So it would be like pink. No blue. You want to skip right there. So whenever he says no blue. I usually skip right after he says no and right before blue. That's what I found to work. So if you do that, that's a cutscene dupe. You should be fine. You should see 2 fake Vic and Lances walking towards a car and you stuck on top of another cheetah. So you've done it successfully. This dupe is very strange, but this only works on Japanese. Do not try this on international. It only works on Japanese. Unless you can find a setup for international, then whoop-de-doo. We're still going to use Japanese. So do not get a wanted level. Otherwise you have to paint spray or wait for the thing to go away. Do not destroy the cheetah. If you do this mission normally, you don't have to worry about that. But do not destroy the cheetah. Otherwise the mission will fail after this cutscene, which is part of the duped thing. So you're going to enter, hit that marker, and then you'll see this, the hotel building for some reason play. And then your car is going to be stuck inside the metal detector area. So you have to do some burnouts, spin your tires, get unstuck. Can take a few moments. Get unstuck right about there. Grab your weapons back. I forgot to mention a side effect of cutscene duping snitch hitch dupe, or cutscene duping Snitch Hitch, you get 30k grenades. It's the first instance where you're getting 30k weapons. So get all your weapons back. You can skip a bat if you're worried about inventory management. I don't. I don't worry about it. But I'm gonna drive through this small parking lot um, to where the airplane is that we have to destroy. You're gonna be very careful here because they can absolutely laser your car, and sometimes there is duped guys. I have not had that happen to me before, but sometimes they can be duped. So kill everyone with your MP5, pick up some SMG ammo if you need to. For some reason, Lance can just randomly have a heart attack or something and die, even if there's no one shooting at him. And that seems to happen when you wait too long. So here, you're gonna skip the cutscene as quick as you can, and I think I used Molotovs here. No, I just used them. Shoot them all with your MP5, don't worry about your wanted level. The mission's about to finish anyway. So what happens here is you're gonna kill all the guys, all the duped ones. In this final cutscene, you need to skip as fast as you can, so spam as hard as you can. Because if you only skip it like by pressing X once, it'll play again. Snitch Hitch will pass on different frames. You will not skip from 0 to hero. So you need to spam as hard as you can. And that shit. And keep spamming until you think you're fine. Run over to these bikes and throw a grenade down. Hop on the bike. Bike Angel catches on fire. And you die. So you death warp. Pick up your weapons again very quickly. You need to be very quick. You do not want a pager to come in. So run over here. There's still an L on the map. Don't worry about it. Start paramedic. When canceling paramedic, that will officially mark from 0 to heroes done. And now you're going to... You have a very small timer. You have about 50 seconds. Because whatever is on the paramedic timer is how much you have. But now you're going to drive over. Normally you would drive through that alleyway, but I forgot to go there. So I have to go around, because you're going to park the ambulance in the garage. You have enough time to not have to worry about it. But just drive backwards into it, try not to block either of the doors. Still have a good 20 seconds, we're fine. So this is PACBA for Act 3. It's much easier. You're going to run inside, and the save marker won't despawn, because it's already spawned in. So you're going to run towards the save marker, cancel paramedic, and run into it. It's, again, half a second time. After canceling paramedic, there's no fade. It just cancel and run into the marker. It's a lot easier, because you don't have to worry about the save marker despawning, and that's, I think, it won't work if you're, like, right on top of it, but it's less sensitive than truck stop dude. That's all you have to worry about. It's much easier. Save the game again. I save in a separate slot, restart your game. This is emulator. So game loads up, it should, yeah, it loads my cause and act on mission 1 safety save. So we load the correct save, and we have an M, an R, and a G. I believe that's what it is. So we've done PACBA correctly. So that's Act 2 at 8%. Thank you for hanging around. Have a good night.